Welcome to the Huddersfield Town preview show in association with Sportsbroker. I'm pleased today to be joined with Levi Colwill and Stephen Chicken from The Examiner. How are you two both doing today?
I'm fine, thanks. All good.
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Good. Levi, if I start with you, you've just come back from your first under-21s call-up. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was a great experience. Just playing with a lot of elite players. You could tell the difference in training, and even when it came to match day, the intensity levels are just so high. And it was good because it wasn't a big difference from training here, but everything was just clean. Everyone was perfect, sort of thing.
Do you think that sort of experience is going to make you a better player and sort of push you on a little bit as well?
Yeah, of course, it can only help me. When I went there, you could see the sort of players that are there, and all you can do is look up to them and try and compare yourself and get better so you're on their level. So hopefully I can just take things from their game and add it to mine and try to help me.
That's good. Is there anyone that stood out in particular to you that you thought, oh, he's really good?
Yeah, Mark Gay, former Chelsea player.
Okay.
Everything he does is just so professional, and on the pitch he's just professional too. You can see it makes a big difference. That's why.
So did you know him from Chelsea before as well, then?
Yeah, I knew him from Chelsea before, and then I haven't seen him in a while. And then when I started training with him, I was just like, wow.
Yeah, it was a bit of a turbulent one though. You had one game called off, and then the other game was you were on the bench for. So hopefully in the next one you'll get a bit more time on the pitch.
Yeah, hopefully.
Stephen, have you got any thoughts on Levi's call-up? It was well deserved after his start to the season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you mentioned Mark Gahey there because he obviously had that excellent season on loan at Swansea last year, and I think sort of helped show that age isn't really a factor when it comes to a centre back coming into the Championship and doing well. And we've seen Levi, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying that whenever you speak to anyone about, what are your first impressions of Levi, what do you think of him, whether that's a fan, teammate, or whoever it might be, they always say, you can't believe he's 18, just calmness and maturity on the pitch. And I think it's obviously sort of indicative of the standing that England see in the national setup see him in, that he's got that call up to the under-21s at just 18. There's other age groups to go through before that, but they've put him on that fast track, which is very encouraging.
Yeah, it is. How have you found your time at Huddersfield so far, Levi? Have you settled in completely now and happy with everything how it's going?
Yeah, definitely. I settled in pretty quickly, and the players and everyone around me feel really welcome, so that helps a lot. And now I'm just fully focused on football.
Brilliant. How are you finding it working with Carlos? Because he's quite intense on the training pitch, and he puts you lads through your paces. So is that different to what you're used to elsewhere, or is it quite nice?
Yeah, definitely different, but it's like you said, it's nice. So every day you got to put it in, because the smallest details can make a big difference when match day comes. So it's easy. It's easier to learn things too, because it's getting drilled into you all the time. So you just pick little things up.
Is that one of the reasons you wanted to come to Huddersfield on loan, because you knew about how the coach worked and the way we play football?
Definitely. The way he played football suits me perfectly. Just confident and play. We're trying to make passes. We're trying to keep possession. Things like that is just a big factor in my game, what I try to look for. So it's definitely attracted me when I saw and heard about the football here.
We've made a really good start to the season. Stephen, I'll come to you on this. Sort of, do you think that work on the training field that we've been doing under Carlos since he came in, the results now picking up, is that all from that, do you think? Do you think it's all indicative of how intense we work behind the scenes?
I think it's one of the big factors, yeah. I mean, obviously the squad has been renewed over the summer quite significantly. There's been a lot more depth added, which adds a lot more options, drives up the competition. Phil Hodgkinson's talked about it as putting 20% in everyone, because if everyone wants to play, there's only 11 players on the pitch. We saw the last game, the last lineup, when we did our predicted lineup, and this turned out to be true on the team sheet as well. We realized, whatever team Carlos picks, he's leaving out two players who have been playing well. Like there's no way around it, and it ended up being sort of Naby Sarr and Scott High, who can probably consider themselves a bit unlucky to be squeezed out, having had good starts to the season. So, but I'm sure that having had that full summer on the training pitch will have helped Carlos a lot. I know that there was sort of, obviously some disruption around COVID and things like that, but it's still a damn sight more than he got last year when he came in and had 5 weeks, something like that, to get everything started from getting on the training pitch to the season getting underway. So, and the players would have been on a short, break for some of that. So I think we saw sort of first half of last season that this is a style that can succeed in the Championship. I think where we have seen a big improvement is defensively, and not just sort of against the ball, although obviously we have seen that, but avoiding silly errors as well. We had sort of too many goals last year that came from individual errors in on the ball in your own third, giving the ball away in silly positions and things like that. We really haven't seen that this season. I can't think of many occasions where...
Touch wood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, away to Stoke last year was the worst of all of them last season. So we'll see how it goes. But so far, so good on that front. We're not seeing those silly mistakes. And I think that is not just the quality of players that have been brought in and, the fact that we've got an entirely new back line, new goalkeeper, but also sort of positional work, making sure that players are in the right place to offer options for the pass out from the back and things like that. So, yeah, there's a lot of very encouraging signs.
Because you mentioned Stoke, just quickly, there is no pay on the day available to any fans watching or listening in on Spotify. So if you do need to get your tickets sorted, get it sorted today, please, because there are a few remaining for that. If we do touch on Stoke a little bit more, Stephen, what do you think we've got to expect from them? How do you see them playing? They've started the season obviously very well and encouraging. Ex-Town boy Tommy Smith's playing really well. Who do you think we've got to worry about, and how do you see that game going?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a very strong squad. They have done since they've come down from the Premier League, Stoke, and they have struggled to sort of turn that into results and make that squad, show what they can do on the pitch so far, to be honest. But Michael O'Neill has obviously made good progress with them over the past couple of years, and it seems to have got them into a good place now. They've started the season really well. That they'd like to play that 3-5-2 generally, I think, and they've had good success with that. They're not the team that I think their reputation suggests from the Premier League days, where they're sort of, big and physical, but they do still have that. They're still good at attacking set pieces, as are Town. And, you've got players like, Joe Allen and Nick Powell and Tommy Smith, players who have been up to the Premier League and shown what they can do. And it's going to be a tough game. The league table doesn't lie on that front. They've got 10 points, same as Town, and it could be a bigger challenge as they've had this season.
It's quite an interesting one because I think we've played top end of the table teams in Fulham, and we've caught other teams at perhaps a good time. And this is a real test for us. Is that something you guys have been talking about in training, Levi? Are you guys really up for this because it's a proper test against a club that's a similar sort of size with similar sort of ambitions?
Yeah, it'll be one of our hardest games this season, but it's what we want to play against. We want to play against good teams that are going to really challenge us. And we know that when we step on the pitch tomorrow, we've got to give 100. We've got to win all individual battles, or anything can happen. So if we do get the 3 points, it'll be a really good feeling. But if we don't, we ain't going to be happy.
I mean, the last time we were away against a team in red and white stripes, that went okay for you. How was the experience of your first senior goal and that late winner?
Yeah, it was the best feeling ever. Just scoring in front of the fans, having them run and jump on me. I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Did you know what to do with yourself? Did you have a celebration in mind, or was it just complete out-of-body experience?
Really, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just running with my mouth open. There's pictures of me, and all my parents say I've never looked that happy before. So I was just crazy.
That's good to hear. If you got sort of, when you guys train and you talk about Stoke, is there anything in particular you're going to go into that game with things in your mind without giving our tactics away? Is there sort of areas that you've got to be aware of with them? We've just been saying that individually, no matter what formation we play, we need to
beat our man 1v1 and keep coming out on top. So if we do that everywhere around the pitch, we'll win. So individual battles are going to be a really big test for us tomorrow.
Yeah. Stephen, on that, with the one-on-ones and the individual players, we've had the Player of the Month in the Championship this for August. So, but Thomas, he's been electric this season. His first professional league start at the start of the year, and he's not looked back since. How has it been watching him blossom into what he's becoming?
Yeah, incredible. I mean, he's the kind of player that even sort of us grumpy gets in the press box, smiling about, and people, opposition journalists come away going, that lad is looks something special. I mean, I think he was always signed with the intention of sort of developing into a first team player, but I think it's been a really pleasant surprise just how quickly he's made that step up. He only got his first start in the Championship on the first day of the season, which is strange to think about. He is in incredible form. I think, there's a note of caution that I think it's unlikely he keeps this up for the whole season. He'd end up with 46 assists if he carried on the way he was going. So, it's and opponents are going to be sort of paying closer attention to him. We saw it a bit with Carline Grant 2 years ago, Josh Koroma last year, that obviously when you've got a player who's in that kind of form, they start paying a closer attention, they start doubling up on you. But I think that can still be important for Town because you then have opportunities elsewhere on the pitch. It creates space for other people and opportunities for other people. So, yeah, long may it continue. We can enjoy it while it's here, and hopefully he can maintain a good level throughout the season, even if he's not getting 10 out of 10s every week as he did last time against Reading.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he's from our own fan man of the matches. He's won 4 of the 5 so far, so he's been amazing. Sort of seeing him around the building and everything, Levi. He is in person as he is on the pitch. He's exuberant. He's loud. He's happy. He's smiley. What's he like to be in a squad with and train with? Is he exactly as you see him on the pitch?
He's exactly the same. He's always smiling. He's always just good vibes. It shows on the pitch when he's happy and when he's doing this thing what he loves, scoring goals, getting assists, and he just carries on off the pitch. You see him, he's always just talking, laughing with people. It's just good vibes to have.
That's good. Is that sort of the feeling across the squad then? Is it a group that you feel really comfortable in and everyone's laughing and joking and smiling? Because, like I say, around the training ground, watching you guys train, that seems to be the way it comes across to us.
Yeah, most definitely. Everyone's always laughing with each other. It's the best way to be. So we're all comfortable, all calm around each other, and it shows on the pitch.
That's good, because this is obviously your first experience of senior football. So, especially with somebody like Sorba, who's come from non-league and Boreham Wood, does that give you a bit more sort of confidence and a bit of inspiration as to how much, working hard and being humble and applying yourself can take you in the game? Because you obviously come from a big club at Chelsea, but even Sorba, who's got a completely different background than you, is making his name in his own right.
Definitely. When you're playing good football, like you said, then staying humble will be a big part of it. Sorba's so humble. He's down to earth and he's just going out and kicking the ball like he would normally do. And when he does play and he's scoring his goals, he won't let it get to his head, which is a really good thing.
That's good. Have you had any experience of speaking to Sorba yet, Stephen?
I think briefly once, but I mean, we've talked on the podcast "To Be a Terrier" with David Hartrick. We've talked about, you can see that Sorba's from day one, even when he wasn't playing last season so much. We were talking about, you could see his attitude in the warm up. He was always talking to coaches, always talking to senior players, always watching what other players were doing in the warm up, paying really close attention to everything. And you could tell that it's taken him a while to get to this level. He's 22 and he's been playing non-league football, and you can just tell from everything about him that he's been absolutely determined not to sort of let this opportunity pass by him, and that he's determined to get every drop of potential out of himself and out of his career, which I think is probably true of pretty much, every player who makes it to a certain level. Don't get me wrong, but I think you can see it very clearly with Sorba, and that is really encouraging to see. The club have talked a lot about wanting to have the right characters in the club, and I think that is exactly the kind of thing that they're after. Yeah,
and we've done an interview with him on HTTV that you can catch on YouTube or Instagram or anything like that. So I encourage anyone to catch that if you haven't already. It's interesting you bring up the Who to be a Terrier podcast, Stephen. That was my little brainchild a long time ago, many moons ago. So I'm glad it's in good hands now.
I'm sorry we changed the name, Rad.
So have you got any questions for Levi or Steve?
Just how what's sort of been the biggest challenges getting used to the Championship, I suppose, coming from youth football to the Championship. You seem to have adapted really well, but is there anything sort of unexpected that you've come across? Or
people spoke a lot about it, but it's the Saturday, Tuesday, there's a quick turnarounds on games. When you're really in it and you just game, it could be such a good thing for us. We was in good form, so it's just getting points, which is a good thing. But if you're going around the other way and you're not picking up points, it can be really tough. And I've learned that already, mentally and physically. So you just need to keep going, keep the good run going, and hopefully it lasts for a long time.
Nice one. Cheers.
Physically, any different? Obviously, we're playing against men rather than people at a younger age. Has that taken a toll, or you seem to be carrying yourself fairly well against bigger men and stronger people?
I think it's a little bit of a difference, but also the difference is with the intensity how we play here. So it's not just because I'm playing against bigger men. The intensity we press at is a lot higher than what it was when I was playing academy football. So that's probably both of them together. That's another reason it makes a little bit of a difference.
Excellent. Unless you've got any other questions, Stephen, I think we're good before Stoke. So as I say, there's no pay on the day available at the Bet365 Stadium. So if you want to get your tickets sorted, get them sorted today. That's Friday the 10th. And thank you again to Sportsbroker, and we'll catch you on the flip side of Stoke away. Thank you very much, Levi. Thank you very much, Stephen.